You've been lied to since birth, conditioned to believe that truth always wins, that virtue needs no defense, and that power is earned by goodness alone. But the world does not reward innocence. It devours it. What wins is leverage, what dominates is perception, and what survives is not truth, but control over what people believe is true. Psychological warfare begins not with others but with yourself. You must unlearn the fantasy that people operate on reason. They don't. They operate on fear, guilt, need, habit, and appearances. And if you don't control those things, someone else will. Most people walk through life as open books with no lock on the cover. They speak too much. They reveal their longings. They defend their insecurities. And worst of all, they seek validation. The moment you show a need to be understood, to be liked, to be seen, you forfeit the upper hand. Understand this. Silence is not absence. It is strategy. A man who does not explain himself holds more weight than a man who pleads his case. And the more you explain, the weaker your position becomes. The first rule of psychological warfare is this: become unreadable. If they can't read you, they can't control you. If they don't know what you want, they can't bait you. If they can't predict you, they'll fear you. That's where the power begins. Humans fear the unknown more than they fear violence. An unpredictable enemy is a dangerous one. So cultivate opacity, speak in half-truths, smile with reasons you never reveal. Let them guess whether your kindness is real or calculated. Let them wonder if your silence means peace or war. What unsettles them gives you control. They will tell you that transparency is noble. They will beg you to be open, to be vulnerable. But every time you do, you load the weapon they'll later aim at your head. Be kind but unreadable. Be polite but cold. Be friendly but dangerous. The greatest manipulators wear no mask because they've already taught the world that their real face is harmless. And that, precisely, is the mask. People crave control. And if you don't give them clarity, they will project their own fears onto you. Let them. That projection becomes your camouflage. If they think you're weak, they underestimate you. If they think you're arrogant, they'll never expect restraint. If they think you're quiet because you're timid, they'll never prepare for the explosion. Let people misjudge you. It is one of the greatest assets in this game. Make yourself boring to fools. Make yourself threatening to cowards. But never let your power be seen directly. Power that is seen is resisted. Power that is felt without shape or source is obeyed. People obey what they don't understand. They fear what they can't define. That is the soil where psychological domination grows. If you want loyalty, forget love. Use necessity. If they need you, they'll stay. If they fear losing your presence, they'll serve. Love is fragile. It questions. It changes. But fear is stable. You can't build an empire on affection, but you can build it on fear that's wrapped in respect, not terror, that breeds hatred, but calculated fear, subtle fear, the kind that makes them hesitate to speak against you, but still crave your approval. And to do that, you must master the art of withdrawing. When you withdraw your presence, your attention, your approval, they panic, they chase, they comply. That is the power of absence. Use it as a weapon. When they expect your response, delay it. When they expect your warmth, turn cold. When they expect your certainty, go still. Break their rhythm, and they will follow yours. Every human being walks around with invisible levers, and every one of those levers is connected to a need: validation, recognition, status, security, control. Learn to see those levers. Watch their words. Watch their body. Watch what they defend. That's where the weakness lives. And once you find it, never pull it all at once. Touch it, test it, build their dependency, then pull. The best control is never direct. It's silent. It's invisible. It doesn't look like power. It looks like coincidence. It looks like a decision they made freely. That is real manipulation, not coercion, but direction, not commands, but suggestions. Let them think it was their idea. Let them believe they chose you, trusted you, followed you on their own. And all the while you are moving the pieces. You must learn to conceal your power with precision. Power is not something you advertise. It's something you imply. Subtle cues, hints of dominance, strategic silences, the look that makes them wonder what you're thinking, what you're capable of, what you've already planned. That tension between what they see and what they suspect is your advantage. Don't destroy it by explaining. The more they know, the more they resist. The less they know, the more they obey. That's the paradox. Transparency kills influence. Mystery commands it. The world is not run by the loudest voice. It's run by the voice that doesn't need to shout. The voice that speaks once and echoes forever. Never fight battles you haven't already won. This is the golden rule of psychological warfare. You do not confront unless you control the frame. You do not argue unless you've already tilted the audience. You do not expose unless their guilt is already known. The best defense is psychological terrain shaping. Plant ideas, sow doubts, make them think the question was theirs. If they arrive at your conclusion without realizing it, you have conquered them without resistance. That is the highest art, not in defeating an enemy, but in building the illusion that there never was one. And as they follow your path, thanking you for the light, they will never see the chain in your hand. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be obeyed, to be studied in silence, to be feared in your absence. A man becomes unstoppable the moment he no longer flinches at being misunderstood, when the insult no longer penetrates, when the praise no longer seduces, when betrayal no longer surprises. That is when he graduates from reaction to command. Most live trapped in the approval loop, tilting their speech, their posture, even their destiny toward the preferences of the crowd. But a sovereign man does not tilt. He remains still while the world contorts around him, and in that stillness, terrifying to others, he becomes the mirror that reveals everyone's disguise. They will either retreat from his presence or submit to it. There is no power in being triggered, no power in defending yourself, no power in justifying your worth. That is the behavior of prey, and prey are not respected. They are studied, tracked, consumed. You must kill the part of you that still believes explanation will save you. That truth will speak for itself. It never has. It never will. Truth without strategy is suicide. Every word you say is a weapon, or it is a weakness. And if you cannot wield language like a scalpel, you are already disarmed. The most dangerous men in history did not scream. They whispered. They chose their sentences like blades, measured, precise, irreversible. This is your task now. Learn to speak rarely, and when you do, make every syllable feel like a verdict. Control begins with invisibility. If they don't see your hand, they don't resist the move. You don't push people, you position them. You don't demand loyalty, you become necessary. The ruler who shouts for obedience is already losing it. The sovereign man plays the long game. He builds dependency before declaring dominance. He lets the sheep graze, lets them think they roam free, until the gates close, and the pasture becomes a prison. That's how you trap people, not through threat, but through comfort. Make them feel safe, needed, seen, and when their eyes adjust to your warmth, pull it away, slowly. Watch them crawl back, begging for the light. That's when you own them. Do not waste your pain. Most people suffer and call it fate. You will suffer and call it fuel. Every wound is a blueprint. Every betrayal is a signal. Most are too busy crying to see the pattern. But you, if you are to become unstoppable, you will take notes. Study every scar. Catalogue every silence. Remember who watched you bleed without lifting a hand. And never forget the calm that came when you realized you needed no rescue. That moment, the moment you stopped begging and started building, is the moment you became immortal. Power is not about the empire you construct outside. It is about the empire you forge within. And no one can steal that. People will call you cold. Let them. They said the same of every man who ever claimed territory. They will say you've changed. Good. Change again. Until they can no longer recognize the version of you that once bowed, once waited, once begged. Evolution is betrayal to the ones who benefited from your weakness. Your rise will offend them, not because of what you've become, but because of what they can no longer manipulate. They'll call you distant, arrogant, selfish, but what they really mean is untouchable, no longer available for exploitation, no longer predictable, no longer safe to disrespect. Wear those accusations like armor. Every insult is proof that you have exited their control. The reason you feel stuck is because you are still trying to carry people who were never meant to come with you. Guilt has kept you leashed. Loyalty has kept you weak. You owe no one the version of you that they are comfortable with. Outgrow them in silence. Succeed in private. Let your distance become the message. The man who must explain why he left is still trying to be understood. The man who simply disappears, who builds his empire beyond the eyes of those who doubted him, that man is feared, that man is respected. You don't owe closure to those who weaponized your presence. You owe them your absence. You will be tested, not by your enemies, but by your own softness. The impulse to explain, the reflex to apologize, the craving to be seen as good. Kill it. You don't need to be good. You need to be effective. Morality is a costume worn by those who lack leverage. Men in power do not ask, "Is this right?" They ask, "Will this work?" The world does not revolve around virtue. It revolves around consequence. To become unstoppable, you must exit the theater of morality and enter the arena of result. There, only two forces matter: what advances you and what delays you. Everything else is noise. And the moment you shed the need to be righteous, you will walk through walls. You will notice something shift. The more silent you become, the more they reveal. The more still you sit, the more they panic. People interpret mystery as threat, and that is precisely what you want. A man in command does not flinch, fidget, or fill space with needless words. He creates gravity. When he enters the room, the dynamic changes, not because he demands it, but because his self-possession demands response. You will learn to become that man. Start by withholding your reactions, your energy, your accessibility. You don't owe your presence to anyone, and the moment you act like it, the weak will resent you. Let them. Their resentment is your confirmation. The lion is not hated by the antelope because he is unfair. He is hated because he cannot be negotiated with. Stop making yourself easier to love. Start making yourself harder to replace. You were not born to be palatable. You were born to be powerful. And power does not smile to win favor. It observes, it waits, it chooses. Be careful who you give your time to. Not everyone deserves proximity to a man who is building something eternal. You are not here to fix broken people. You are not here to prove your kindness. You are here to conquer what breaks you. You are here to build a kingdom so solid, so complete, that no betrayal can shake it. And if that means being feared more than loved, so be it. The wolf that survives is not the one who howls the loudest. It's the one who walks alone until the forest bends to his presence. Control your energy like a weapon. You have been scattering your fire, burning for people who never lit a match for you. No more. Your energy must become exclusive, sacred, ruthlessly allocated. Not everyone gets to experience you. Not everyone gets a response. Let your silence become legendary. Let your absence sting. Let your detachment confuse those who once fed on your accessibility. Because once you control your availability, you control the entire game. And the man who controls when and where he shows up emotionally, physically, spiritually, is a man who cannot be played. They cannot guilt you, shame you, or sway you, because you have become your own master. Most men die with their power still locked inside them, buried beneath the opinions of others, suffocated by the fear of being disliked, erased by the need to fit in. But you, if you are willing to burn, to isolate, to walk into the cold alone, you will access a version of yourself they will never touch. The man who does not chase peace but creates it. The man who does not seek applause but causes silence when he speaks. That man does not need protection. He is protection. That man does not ask, "What do they think of me?" He asks, "What leverage do I hold?" And the answer, always, is this: I hold myself. I answer to no one. I kneel to nothing. I fear no loss because I have already died to the part of me that begged. You want to be unstoppable? Then accept this truth. No one is coming to save you. Not your parents, not your friends, not your partner. The world rewards men who initiate, who build, who move without being told. There is no path, only territory, and it belongs to the man willing to take it. Your enemies do not rest, your rivals do not sleep, and life, as cruel as it sounds, is a battlefield with no mercy for the slow. You must rise early, you must train when others indulge. You must study while others distract themselves. Every hour you waste is an hour they gain. Every moment of weakness is a door left unlocked. Do not let comfort rob you of your edge. A man sharpening his will in silence is more dangerous than 1,000 loud ones swinging blindly in the dark. They won't tell you this, but you are allowed to become dangerous. Not in rage, not in chaos, but in discipline. Ruthless, silent, calculating discipline. The kind that wakes before the sun, that denies the body what it craves, that slices through distraction like a blade through silk. That is what fearsome men are made of. Not genetics, not charm, not luck, but but the quiet decisions made in solitude, repeated until the world bends. The weak wait for motivation. The unstoppable build systems, rituals, laws for themselves that they do not break. While others beg for balance, you will choose dominance over your impulses, over your mind, over the parts of you that still wish to be rescued. Your routine must become your fortress. Every detail must serve your evolution. From the food you eat, to the time you sleep, to the thoughts you permit into your mind. Sloppiness is treason. Laziness is treason. Distraction is treason. You are not free. You are at war, against every force that wishes to make you average, against every voice internal or external that tells you to rest before you've earned it. There is no luxury for the man in ascent, no ease, no breaks, only the grindstone, only the cold wind at your back as you march forward, day after day, without applause. This is the price, this is the burden, but also this is the purification. The world will not crown you until you first crown yourself. You must eliminate softness from your speech, from your posture, from your face. There is no room for the man who hesitates, for the eyes that dart, for the voice that trembles. Your energy must arrive before you do, calm, still, but commanding. Speak as if your words are orders, even if they are questions. Move as if time obeys your rhythm. Do not seek entrance, create it. The man who owns the room is not the one who asks for attention. It's the one who seems too focused to care. And that is your new nature, untouchable, focused, aloof. The ghost of a former man, the one who needed comfort, needed praise, needed company. Let that man die, let him rot. You do not owe him a eulogy, only a replacement. They will offer you escape routes, pleasure, distraction, ego games, all designed to pull you away from yourself. Ignore them. The more silent you become, the more chaotic they will get. The test is this: can you sit with your hunger and not feed it? Can you stand in the storm and not run? Can you see the bait and walk past it, knowing your prize lies deeper, darker, beyond their imagination? That is your edge. The man who does not take the bait cannot be caught. They cannot hook you with compliments. They cannot cage you with shame. They cannot confuse you with options. You have already chosen your path, and your feet do not stray from it. You are not a man of emotion anymore. You are a man of action. Feelings are weather, they pass. But your laws, your vision, your grind, those are immovable. Let others cry, let others vent, let others complain. You build, you shape, you strike. And if the storm inside you becomes too loud, you will not scream, you will sweat, you will bleed. You will channel the chaos into momentum, into sets, into reps, into silence, so powerful it makes weak men whisper. Your anger is not a flaw, it is fuel. Your ambition is not arrogance, it is destiny. Your solitude is not emptiness, it is alignment. Let the world misunderstand you. Let them mock what they cannot survive. Their noise means nothing here. The mirror is now your only rival. Every day, stare into it and ask, did you keep your word? Did you execute without excuse? Did you delay gratification? Did you move like a sovereign? If not, correct it. There is no need for shame, only recalibration. Emotion is the tax the weak pay to avoid accountability. You are above that now. You are your own judge, your own jury. And if the answer is yes, if you did move like the man you swore to become, then nod once, say nothing, and repeat it again tomorrow. That's how empires are built. Quietly, relentlessly, without asking, without telling, just conquering. You were not born to obey. You were born to impose, to command, to bend reality until it reflects your will. And yet somewhere along the way you were taught to wait, to hope, to adjust, to be acceptable. That conditioning must now die. You are not here to fit into the world. You are here to remake it in your image. That requires aggression, not in speech but in intent. You must become the architect of outcomes, the initiator of movement, the one who does not watch the tide but commands it. Do not ask what the rules are. Decide what the result must be, then reverse engineer your method. That is how a prince thinks. That is how an empire begins, not with permission but with precision. You must learn the art of selective cruelty, not the cruelty of violence but of clarity. Say no, cut ties, withdraw your energy without flinching. Mercy given to the unworthy is treason to your future. Stop entertaining mediocrity just because it is familiar. Stop nurturing weakness just because it begs gently. The man who is willing to offend, strategically, sparingly, decisively, is the man who is never questioned twice. There is no virtue in being endlessly accommodating. There is no honor in being a doormat. There is only slow death, death of time, of dignity, of domination. The world bows not to those who are fair, but to those who are firm, and your firmness must become law. The people around you are not neutral. They either sharpen you or soften you. Audit your circle like a king preparing for war. Who feeds your fire? Who dims your edge? Who makes you forget your mission? You cannot become unstoppable while dragging dead weight. Loyalty is meaningless if it costs you your kingdom. Study them. Do they move when you move? Do they speak when you speak? Do they execute without needing to be told twice? If not, distance is mercy. Silence is protection. Let them go quietly. You do not owe them a confrontation. You owe yourself momentum. And if that means walking alone until you find your army, walk. Discipline is the highest form of self-respect. The man who honors his word to himself becomes terrifying, because nothing owns him, not craving, not fatigue, not emotion. He says he will rise at 5, and he does. He says he will finish the task, and he does. He becomes godlike, not because of talent, but because of follow-through. In a world of liars and quitters, consistency becomes mysticism. People will accuse you of obsession. Let them. Obsession is how mountains are moved. It is how kingdoms are built. Let them laugh at your regimen, your rituals, your repetitions, until the results silence them all. By then they'll call it luck, but you will know it was war, and you won. Be slow to speak and fast to execute. The man who talks too much bleeds influence. The more you say, the more they can use. The more you promise, the more they expect. The more they expect, the more they resent. Say little, deliver much, understate everything. Let your results speak over your voice. A man who says, "I will win," invites resistance. A man who wins without warning, he is obeyed. He becomes legend. People respect mystery more than they respect declarations. They follow the ones they don't fully understand. That is the game now. Become the man they can't label, can't read, can't predict. That fear will serve you far more than their admiration ever could. You must kill the part of you that still hopes for fairness. The world is not fair. It is fluid. It moves for the man who moves first. And you will move first, strike first, decide first. Others will hesitate, weigh options, beg for signs. You will act, not because you are certain, but because you understand that motion beats thought. Strategy begins where overthinking ends. Become decisive, even when unsure, especially when unsure. Indecision is the perfume of failure. It smells sweet, but it rots. Burn it out of you. Replace it with movement, with initiation, with the bias for conquest. A man who chooses boldly, even wrongly, will still learn, still gain, still rise. The one who hesitates becomes nothing but dust under the feet of those who didn't. Your legacy will not be built in comfort. It will be carved in isolation, forged in repetition, and sealed in bloodless war. The man who becomes unstoppable does not chase pleasure. He masters delay. He does not pursue approval. He commands silence. He does not beg for understanding. He speaks in finalities. You must live as if the crown already belongs to you, not someday. Now, you walk differently when you know it is yours. You speak with finality. You rest with purpose. Every action becomes sacred because it is no longer part of a struggle, but an expression of control. That is the final transformation. Not chasing power, but embodying it, quietly, fully, without apology. Your enemies will not announce themselves. They will laugh at your ambition, distract you with praise, pretend to support you while planting doubt. That is the nature of the game. They will not strike you with swords. They will strike you with compliments that soften you, friendships that slow you, routines that rot you from within. You must become immune. Praise means nothing. Loyalty must be tested. And every form of affection must prove its utility. Do not be swayed by smiles. Watch behavior, measure sacrifice, study silence. That is where their true position is revealed, not in their words but in what they do when you are not looking. Protect yourself accordingly, with distance, with boundaries, with the discipline of a ruler who knows too much trust ends in ruin. You will lose people. Let them go. You will outgrow comfort. Burn it behind you. You will be called names. Arrogant, cold, detached. Let them scream. Those are the cries of the powerless witnessing what they will never become. Their confusion is your confirmation. Their envy is your fuel. Do not explain, do not correct, do not soften to make them feel better. That was the old you, the negotiator, the justifier, the version that wanted peace more than progress. That version died the moment you realized you are not here to be understood. You are here to win, and in war, you do not stop for wounded feelings. You do not apologize for sharp edges. You conquer, you ascend, and you do it unapologetically. They will ask how you did it, and you will not answer. Because the man who becomes the storm does not explain the thunder. He simply arrives, silent and unannounced. His presence alone changes the air. They feel it in their bones that something about him cannot be tamed, that he has been somewhere they have not, that he has suffered in silence and emerged refined, unbreakable. You will be that man. You are becoming him now. Every breath, every choice, every moment you sit with the fire instead of fleeing from it. You are burning away the excuses, the weakness, the hesitation. What remains is iron, is law, is legend. There will come a day when your enemies fall silent, when the room waits for your word, when your past becomes myth and your presence becomes doctrine. And on that day, you will not need to shout. You will not need to gesture. You will not need to threaten, because they will already know this is the man who never asked, never begged, never stopped. This is the man who built himself from ash, who turned pain into prophecy and silence into a throne. They will try to study you, they will try to copy you, but they will fail, because what you built cannot be replicated. It was forged in darkness, in hunger, in discipline, and only those who have walked through that inferno will recognize the shape of the flame. You are no longer allowed to doubt. That luxury is gone. You are not confused. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are simply mid-transformation. And if you've made it this far, it's because a deeper part of you already knows there is no returning. There is no going back to comfort, to softness, to smallness. The only way is forward, through the fire, through the silence, through the kingdom you must now take with your bare hands. Let them fear your silence. Let them obey your stillness. Let them feel the weight of your presence, like a crown they cannot touch. You are not becoming unstoppable. You already are. If you've made it this far, it means the mask is already cracking. The illusion is fading. A deeper part of you is waking up. The part that no longer wants to be saved, but wants to conquer. The part that understands. Being accepted by the world means nothing if it requires abandoning your throne. Real power begins the moment you choose yourself, fully without compromise, without apology, without fear, even if it means losing them. Even if it means walking alone through silence, through rejection, through the death of your old self. So tell me in the comments, are you ready to let them go? Ready to stop performing? Ready to step into the version of you that never explains, never begs, and never asks permission again? Are you ready to rule yourself completely? If this message lit a fire inside you, if it stripped something away and revealed who you really are, write in the comments, I claim my throne. Let's see who's truly done being tame. And don't stop here. The next video is not just content, it's the next strike in your awakening. Watch it now. I'll meet you there.